over to you, Sruthi, for your final case study.
Okay, let me put it on full screen. Okay, so I will start with an overview. So today I will go through on a high level the product process I went through, starting from validating the problem, what is the offer I thought could solve that problem, and going through the strategic planning of how to achieve this goal or vision I have, and some next steps of how I could proceed on this on these ideas. I would also talk about what are the principles, what heavily resonated with me during the program, and to wrap it up a bit in the end, I will go through the learnings and key takeaways which really impacted me. So moving forward, so what's the problem we are trying to solve and for whom? This was more of a gut feeling I went with. So the problem I thought I wanted to solve, it started as something for busy young vacation goers, struggling to be organized with planning, executing a multi-location journey. There are many aspects in this problem statement, and that was my first objective. How can I validate this? How do I verify whether this is a problem that needs to be solved and this is something which market needs? So to really check if this is acute, this is something valuable, is it something which really is the problem, was my first step. So something I really I started with, even though it was very intimidating, was this discovery calls, trying to reach out through social media to people I don't know. I was quite skeptical, but I would have to say that this was the right way to go. So I was very happy to land 8 discovery calls, actually more, but I limited it to 8. And out of that, 6 of them were definitely the target niche. And something really which came out of it was the problem I was looking for was just a symptom. So it was, I identified more root causes, what was causing this problem. And I have to say that the problem space during these calls kind of started to get evolved. Another aspect was also these acquisition channels. As I said, it was a bit intimidating in the beginning, the outreach itself, but it was a very positive response. So I guess it really increased my my confidence as well. So LinkedIn, Instagram, WhatsApp groups is generally what I went for. And during this time, it's not just the problem, but my niche also evolved. So from regular travelers, I could sense that it's not just regular travelers, but these are those travelers who have all these problems, but wanting a little bit more than regular journeys, but with very local experiences. I went through multiple layers of iteration about the problem also, which was also very interesting. So going forward, I would like to take out what really stood out for me during this conversation. There are so many things, because it's also a very general thing which people do. So there are too many problems, but some things really came up multiple times. One was the lack of confidence people have during this vacation planning. Also, whom to ask, right? Who is my guide during this? Who should I talk to? It also is related to confidence, but they don't know where to seek guidance from. And also, since there's a lot of chaos out there, so which is the trustworthy source? So these kind of stood out in all the conversations. Definitely there are more aspects to it, but this is what I ran with. So the next objective, I kind of sensed that I'm going with this in the right direction, was to find what could I offer to the market? How can I help them? And that is where the MBO was born. And from a very generic problem, I tried to build something very personal, a little bit emotional content in it, and trying to make people a bit more confident with my MBO. So I moved from the problem to the MBO, which is we help travelers to create amazing itineraries, not just any itinerary, but amazing ones, with not just anybody, but with an awesome local buddy. So it became from a very random problem into a very personalized, very personal space. I felt it will hit the right niche with the right things. Now, how could I validate it? That's where the landing page experiment came up. And it was interesting for me to know that we don't have to build a solution to validate it, but we could ask people, do you really like what we are trying to do? And as I said, was a bit intimidating again, but this is where I got a very viral response on what I was offering. Out of all the people I reached out to, I tried to reach out to people I don't know, travelers, etc. And it was a very positive response. Around 25% of the people signed up, and that massively increased my confidence that I am going in the right direction. Secondly, the blue ocean strategy. Instead of vaguely thinking about what could be my product, this kind of laid the foundation for me to do a solid research on my competitor, especially since the market I was trying to enter was very crowded. There was so much of noise there. How do I actually uniquely differentiate my offer? And this is where we went through with Henry, we went through a couple of rounds on this also. And this is where the idea of that the MBO kind of improved into, I should focus on the awesome local buddy also. It's not just any itinerary. The confidence is through this specific differentiation which we are offering. And the next would be the product story canvas. I realized myself that I know a lot of things, but how do I put it in a story? The power of a very clear narrative actually was born here. And it became so easy to communicate what I wanted to do and to say that, okay, we're trying to help this troublesome or troubled travelers who has a problem, and how we can help them, and what is ultimately you achieve from experience or going through or using our product. So the story, this powerful narrative was very helpful. The product vision. So we're trying to help the travelers create these amazing itineraries, not with anybody, but with awesome local buddy, where you build relationship also. Next was actually to test that, is it really valuable and feasible? They like it, but is that enough, right? It's probably not enough. We need to validate that this is valuable. And the landing page experiment already gave some push towards there, that the quantitative research I did, around 50% of people showed interest. They were checking out what was sent, even though they didn't know me. 25% of them signed up, as I already mentioned, for the beta test. I did not get much response in the survey, but the very few I got kind of mentioned the same problems again. So I kind of had the sense that, yes, this direction is right. Then came the lean canvas and strategic roadmap, really laser focus on that unique proposition. So this was also influenced by the blue ocean strategy. I would say that, what are my differentiating factor? How could I make it the power source which I have? So actively thinking about revenue streams, or identifying the journey which we are building through the strategic roadmap, to not just go and try to grab everything at one point, but make it a journey, and you will reach that goal. Then came the next steps of customer journey and prototyping. At this point, things became more real for me. And real means, I would say, relatable and solid, and gave me a tool to use to drive agreements, to actually make the solution, which probably could be the way we want to go, a bit more realistic. The team topology exercise was also a similar way, how to actually build my company from ground up, which even through teams, it's driving towards the vision. It's not just random teams, but it is towards the vision. So yeah, just quickly going through what I did in the lean canvas. As I said, we started with what's the problem, who are we helping, what is the solution, but my main focus was this unique value proposition, which is the power we have, and what is the unfair advantage we have. Also actively thinking about the revenue stream. It was this focus which this exercise brought was passive. Next would be the strategic roadmap. As I said, it's not just any path, but a very calculated path to my goal. where I would measure success, and giving ability to verify at every point and needing to adjust this roadmap if required to reach the vision. Next would be the journey map. As I mentioned, things got really, really real around this point, where what should be done, what's the value, what is the action which users are expected to do, and roughly measuring for yourself what is the customer expectation and how it can make the customer happy. So you deliver what is needed and not just random features and not just trying to build some random things. Team topology, again, brilliant exercise where I could formulate my teams into a goal-oriented, strategy-oriented organization. Next steps, even though I stopped at this point, I would, if time permits, what I would like to do is a smoke test, maybe not build anything, but find somebody who wants to visit Berlin, help them out to plan an activity for a day, act as a concierge to plan their day and get this feedback. How do they actually feel about this local body, who's me, visiting Berlin, and how does this feel if I translate it into a solution in the end? And follow up with verifying the real prototypes, maybe through Figma, and to verify the first step. How does getting trusted local advice really pan out in a real scenario? So this was about the product process. So what are the principles? So some things which really, really resonated with me was how much time you're spending in each part of the solution. So investing time in finding and defining the problem is very important. This is probably something which I already used to do, but validating it was very, very important. And this is one of my key learnings of how important it is to validate this. Next would be spending time to build your narrative, work and rework until you get that right. And no code validation should not be a given. It should be a given and not maybe if we have time, we will do, but this is how you should validate. And investing time to define the right strategy saves a lot of time, money, and effort, to be very honest. And to wrap it up, if I have to pick one, I would say vision and strategy should be the driving force, not the solution. The solution could evolve, could change, but if you get this vision and strategy right, you are moving in the right direction. And some really key takeaways apart from this, or the whole program, which what it offered me was this executable framework. There are so much frameworks out there in the market, but never did it myself to actually see the value. So executable one, which I can teach, practice also, which helps me to define the product journey from ideation to solution. How to make a great story, not just make it, but deliver it, right? And how to make one and delivering it also. Next would be a little bit of leadership aspect, which I was looking at from the program. The power of effective coaching, how to do it and how it can help myself as well, and importance of synergy through workshops. So the agreement which we get and in teamwork, that's also if we can make that also aligned with the vision. So these are my key takeaways, and as I mentioned, the principle, it's very related, but very happy about the program. So yeah, this is about me, and that's it. That's what I want to present.
Excellent. Really, really well done. And under time as well, which is very rare. No, really honestly, it was one of the best.
Thank you.
Good. Okay, I'll quickly go through just specific feedback on the case study, and then we'll slow down and talk about sort of general feedback and sort of next steps for you, Sruthi. So from the three sort of key points from the case study, I think firstly, your signaling was very clear. So you gave a very clear overview, for example, from the start of like, okay, here's what's coming up, here's how I'm going to wrap up, and here's what we're going to start with. That is not something to be underestimated. Be simple and clear anytime you're presenting something, because people get confused or distracted. Second key point, every single time you explained a concept, that demonstrates to me you deeply understand what it is and why we use it, but also it's really important in terms of getting other people to understand what we're talking about. Rather than going like, well, here was my blue ocean, you go, okay, well, what is this thing? Why am I talking about it? And then you'd use a nice example to illustrate like a specific highlight from the discovery calls, for example. Specific points, again, from the problem you started, there was very clear signal about, what is the problem? You gave some really nice context, say, hey, at the beginning, this was just a gut feeling, but I wanted to understand what was going on. If you go to, sorry, so you can follow through as we go, just go to the first objectives and key results.
Yeah.
That's it. Perfect. Yeah, so you introduced this so clearly. I thought it was excellent. What I call a bridge, right? From like, okay, well, here was the problem. And then first step was, is this a real problem? Is it acute, etc.? And then going into the key results, being crystal clear why, made complete sense, what you were doing and why, and how those tied into the objectives. Again, that's not easy to do. So keep doing that. You also told it in a fun way. It gets curiosity. It was engaging, which again is very important, not easy to do. I really like that image. I think I'm going to use this in future of the root versus symptom when it comes to problems. And I think, you can, sorry, go back to actually the last one. Final point with this was excellent, is showing the evolution. So it's like, hey, actually, this wasn't the problem we thought. And actually, even our niche evolved. Why is that important? First, it's important because you're going to find the right problem to solve. But secondly, you're also selling product discovery to people listening. They're going, oh, I get why we do all this stuff now, because actually it does lead us to different conclusions. So you're implicitly selling the value of product discovery, which again is really important because most teams don't buy into it. Or the stakeholders don't understand it. It seems like a waste of time. Good. If you skip ahead to objective 2, again, you excellent introduction to the MBO. Rather than just saying like, here's my MBO, you said, well, next step was to work out, can we offer something they actually want? Simple terms. Excellent. You then broke it down. I loved how you emphasized the key points. It's like, the amazing itineraries are really, really key. That's so important. You did that throughout because you need to hammer the point home about product strategy. Like, what is our product strategy? I need you to understand it if you're listening, and I need you to go away knowing that that's what we're going to obsess over. So important when you're presenting to your teams. If you go to objective 3, again, I think your storytelling was excellent. You again emphasize this laser focus on the unique value proposition. Most people just sort of skip over this after the MBA, but again, you need to hammer the point home every opportunity. And this is a common thread through everything you're doing, right? Is like, once we've got the product strategy in place, that's all we focus on. Everything is seen through that lens. So I thought it was really well done. Yeah, objective 4, you mentioned smoke test. And again, you talk through what it actually is rather than just dropping, clever terms in. What are we actually doing with the smoke test? Good. So that's the feedback. I thought it was excellent. As I said, I think zooming out and just, general feedback, Sruthi, it's, okay. So 3 things I think you did really well to carry on. And then maybe one thing you could improve upon. I think first thing is every session we have, like today, or whether it's the group, so you always come with a really good energy. That's so important. Don't underestimate how important that is as a leader, right? Bringing energy to the room, particularly when we're remote, is really important. So keep that, that's obviously part of your unique leadership style. Keep doing what you do with that. Second thing, I felt like you've got very strong key foundations now. Your customer discovery work was excellent throughout the 8 weeks. Product strategy, again, coming up with this quite unique take in a very busy market, excellent again. And your communication skills, excellent. Whether that's how you ask questions, whether that's how we engage in the one-on-ones, or today how you're presenting the case study. So you've got all of the right foundations there. I think final thing as well is that I see a high level of maturity, and that's not necessarily something that comes with like lots of years of experience. It's, things that I'm seeing you go from first principles, make, the principles and learnings, you made those your own. So, you're not just following what we've taught you, you're actually adapting that and making it your own. That's really important. You're coming up with your own philosophy, your own playbook to product. That's, that's really important to take that next step. I think, only comment to improve is something that's true of everybody actually in your position, is, just going to the next level when it comes to, for example, product strategy. So, for example, you could have played up a little bit more the strategic roadmap, the unfair advantage you sort of brushed over. You want to show real seniority, show you're playing 3D chess, thinking really long term, really strategically. These are the kind of things that people are going to be looking for. But hey, something that comes with time and experience, you've done a great job with it. I think that's just the thing that will take you to the next step, as well as now, I think the other thing is translating all this into practice at work. Taking this really strong foundation you've got and just doing what you can at work to really translate that to impact ultimately. You've got the personal foundation, you've got all the playbook we've given you. So now it's just over to you to go and, make that happen ultimately.
Yeah. I will practice it. Yeah.
Nice. Any sort of thoughts or observations for you? What, if you feel that you've got any next steps you want to take?
I'll stop sharing so that I can see.
Yeah, all good.
Yeah. I guess first step will be definitely using this. And luckily enough, I already started doing it. And I have a good news to share with you. I got promoted last week.
Oh, awesome. Congrats.
Yeah, into a senior position. It's still a little bit of conversations about what the role will be, but it's a lead function of a sub-function in the company. I would say a lot of it actually is because of my mindset shift, which already started showing up, and people come to me for learning the frameworks, and when I present the ideas, it's more clearer, and I'm able to coach very effectively as well. So first of all, I can already see the positive changes happening, but I have a long way to go. There is so much to do, so much to learn, and so much to practice. To be very honest, practice makes perfect, and I
100%. So yeah, look, it sounds like just keep doing what you're doing. Then, if you're already applying, keep introducing things. But as you said, practice makes perfect. Well, we never get to perfection with product, but we get better. So yeah, it's as simple as that. As there's nothing that again, like everyone, you can skill up. We can always get better at things, but I think it's just about taking what you've got already and now just practice, share it. You're going to also see challenges about, if you're coaching someone in product strategy, you're going to see, oh, actually they didn't understand this thing, or maybe I need to simplify it or communicate it in a different way. These kind of things just come through practice as well.
It also helps me to identify what we do is probably not the best, because I'm right now not in the position to really influence the mission of the company, but the order in which they decide, right? You start seeing these problems or some things which are really good also, and able to identify it, I think, is the first step to making these changes also. So even to start a conversation about it.
Exactly.
Now I'm able to recognize these things and tell them, hey, this is what's going to happen if you do this in this order, right? So this is very interesting. And as I said, it's all the mindset which has shifted. And I will eternally be thankful to you for that.
No, that's great to hear. But again, you said it's luck, but it's not. It's you actually trying this stuff and putting yourself out there. So it's your hard work ultimately. Good. Well, I think, excited to follow your career. I think, you got all the potential, and now it's just about continuing to realize it, really. Simple as that. Good. Well, let's wrap up there, Sruthi. Again, awesome case study. Really, really good. And hopefully you'll see I won't be at the Berlin meetup, but I will be the one in spring.
Okay. So I'm not sure, definitely not this one, because I'm in India. I would join the next one.
Next one will probably be May, but anyway, we'll give you more info.
I'll be there. So this is the second time I'm missing it. I was like, okay, this is just bad luck.
No, the summer one's good fun. The summer one was going on to like 2 a.m. last time.
Now I have more
not too crazy though. Just I think lots of people enjoying it. Nice. We'll keep me updated on things, how things are going. Any questions, do reach out, and obviously do use the community as well. For any questions you got. Yeah, everyone's always happy to help. Definitely. Great. Well, have a great day, Sruthi, and we'll enjoy India.
We'll speak soon. Thank you so much, and have fun. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.